Good evening, everyone. One of my favorite authors, P.G. Wodehouse, has said that in each life, some rain must fall. प्रॉब्लम है कि मेरी लाइफ में कल से बहुत ज़्यादा ही बारिश हो रही है. I got up at 2:30 yesterday to catch a flight which never flew. And then I took a flight to Pune at a price in which you can reach London to start at 9:30 at night and then spend the night at Delhi airport in a lounge and reach Pune in the morning. And now, कहाँ गए रवि साहब? Dinner करा रहे हो ना? Now my problem is I am standing here between you and the dinner. Mr. Rahi called me and told me about this function, and he was very kind to invite me, and I said, I must come. But he said, you to speak. I said, what do I speak about? Now you see, like all old men, I am perhaps one of the oldest here. Like all old men, we think we have done a lot of things in life. So he said, I said, what do I speak about? He said, you speak about your achievements. Your achievement. I said, which one? So he was surprised. He said, we know of only one, which is the train. So I have to somehow manage to speak about the train, which is the Vande Bharat, which is like a golden egg for me now. The booze has retired 7 years back, but the golden egg lives on. Congratulations on this function, and is it something that you can read?
Yeah.
I'll request you to read it for 30 seconds, because this is one of the best tributes that I have ever read about our profession. And what's interesting is the great liability of the engineer compared to men of other professions is that his works are out in the open, where all can see them. He cannot bury his mistakes in the grave like the doctors. He cannot argue them into thin air or blame the judge like the lawyers, and so on. And in the end, engineer himself looks back at the unending stream of goodness which flows from his successes with the satisfaction that few professions may know. And the verdict of his fellow professionals is all the accolade that he wants. The fact that you have me here as the chief guest is that accolade. And it's an award for me, perhaps a bigger award than all the awardees today, that you have invited me here to be present. Thank you very much. My grand uncle, his name is Shakespeare. You see, I have a lot of uncles. My oldest uncle is about 700 years plus. He's called Kabir. I have this English uncle called Shakespeare. I have a very young uncle called Alif. He's hardly 200 years plus. So my grand uncle has said in Henry VIII, Griffith says that men's evil manners live in brass, their virtues we write in water. Or from Julius Caesar, you will remember these lines perhaps, is evil that men do lives after them. Their good is oft interred with their bones. But Messrs. Kothari, both the Kotharis and Vedantji, they have proved my uncle wrong, because whatever little good I have done, you have recognized it, even as I live. Now, I was talking about engineering. I like these lines. Somebody said, a scientist can discover a new star, but he cannot build one. He would have to ask an engineer to build it. I don't know if somebody knows a good definition between a scientist and an engineer. I still am not very clear because somewhere somebody told me that a scientist solves a world problem that nobody knew existed. And an engineer solves your problem that you did not know existed and charges you for that. Or a scientist thinks out of the box. An engineer builds a box and sends you the bill. There are एक अच्छी चीजें बता दी, कुछ रियलिटी और बता दे। तो एक ज़ईफ आदमी थे, वो ये उनको ये सवाल बहुत सता रहा था। तो उन्होंने किसी से पूछा, भाई मेरी समझ में नहीं आया था कि साइंटिस्ट और इंजीनियर में क्या फर्क होता है। तो उसने कुछ बताया, बोले नहीं ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, ठीक से समझाओ। बुढ़े बुजुर्ग आदमी थे, ठीक से समझाओ ये फर्क है क्या। तो उसने कहा साहब आपकी उम्र कितनी है। उसने कहा 84 साल। उसने कहा ताऊ 84 साल गुजर गए बिना इसका उत्तर जाने, अब 1, 2, 3 और बचे हैं, क्यों जानना चाहते हो। एक और चीज है इंजीनियरिंग, I guess most of us here are engineers. As young engineers, this profession offers you no benefit when it comes to impressing ladies. Dr. Shivde is here, my great friend. He's a big Urdu and Persian scholar, but he's also a doctor. He's a gynecologist. Now, in his young days, both men and women would have 100 things to ask him, and he can build on that. आप बताओगे आप इंजीनियर हैं, कोई पूछ भी लेगा कि ये कैसे बनता है, the moment you reach trusses and stresses or beams and bending or engine knock or flash, the interest is lost and you're gone. Early in life, that's why somebody told me, because the profession did not help and I had no training in art and literature, I thought इसमें कुछ dabble करना चाहिए and learn from superior intelligence. So I thought I'll cultivate this habit, because life में हमें ये पढ़ाया जाता है कि 2 + 2 होता है 4। अब लाइफ में कभी 2 + 2 3 हो जाता है, कभी 2 + 2 5 हो जाता है, and we are not equipped to deal with that. So I thought a contrived effort, like you stand in front of a beautiful abstract painting and you pretend to understand, actually you understand nothing. So I started taking help of lady artists, stand there and she would tell you 10 things that she could see in the picture which I could not. By the way, 2 + 2 कितना होता है लाइफ से, इससे मुझे याद आया, हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में बड़े नेता हुए, उनसे पूछा गया कि 2 + 2 कितने होते हैं, तो वो सोच में पड़ गए। फिर उन्होंने पूछा देना है कि मिलना है। I will have some caveats, Vedanta Congress. So you have given me 35 minutes. Actually, I am a railway man for life. Being derailed is my inherent right. It's just that I am tired because of those 2 nights that you people are safe. So I'm not going to burst that 35 minutes. I ask people that once again I am among engineers. So ये all the cock and bull story that I keep telling is not going to work. तो मैं क्या करूँ इस बार? तो मैंने कहा भाई बड़ा simple है, you try to be original and good. That's all. Little did you know the problem is that what is original is not good, and what is good is not original. But nevertheless, I will briefly touch upon certain things in the hope that the line of this story is like us good old men who mature with age and do not turn to vinegar. In Merchant of Venice, Portia says, if to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, If to do were as easy as to know what were good to do, chapels had been churches and poor man's cottages, princesses' palaces. In the same vein, it's not at all my place to come and tell you what to do and what not to do. I'll only briefly go into things that I was able to about the train accomplish thanks to a wonderful team which was always bequeathed to me, not my doing, my fortune, what I call proof of the pudding, some vision, some action. So railways, whether you travel by railways or not, whether you like railways or not, good or bad, love to love it, love to hate it. Thanks to Indigo, a lot of people have started traveling by train since yesterday. But you cannot ignore it in this country. It is so much ingrained in the psyche of this country. You remember that fight for the window seat as a child, as the wonder, the magic of India passed you by. Desolate there, crowded there, celebration, joy, mourning, pathos, hard work, grind, indolence, sloth. So much so that the destination became unimportant, the journey became important. And it's a great leveler even today, in spite of great airports and great bus stations, the platform of a railway station is still a place where the richest to the poorest stand next to each other to catch the same train. Another bad habit that old people like me have is to tell youngsters, and there are a lot of youngsters, I'm very happy to see them getting awards. I clap for them. We are not having lived our dreams all our life. We go and tell them, young man, go out and live your dream. I modify it a little to say, there are 4 things which are more important than any dream of yours. That's your family, your friends, your spirit, your health. Look after that. Be patient, don't rush into your dream. An opportunity will certainly come for you to realize it, but you have to be patient. Let it not be extinguished, let it linger somewhere. And I stand before you as the evidence. Because I thought I had the angst and a dream that in spite of such a large network of engineers, such a large network all over the country, old organization, when is India going to have an aesthetically superior, modern, technologically advanced, speedier train? Which remained an angst in my teen, when I was a teenager, before I joined railways, when I joined railways and so on. And I stand before you as evidence when I was all of 57 years and 7 months that I got this opportunity and a great team, and I was able to do something about it. When that opportunity comes is the time to remember these wonderful words of APJ Abdul Kalam, that dream is not the thing that you see in sleep, but is that thing that does not let you sleep. Very briefly, what is Make in India, many of you were part of that. Some successes, some failures came, COVID rejigged into self-reliance, or Atmanirbhar Bharat, with the hope that these lines of India would roar into self-reliance. Again, many successes, many failures. What I talk about is the spirit of Make in India, or Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is usually missing. I was talking to the head of, I'll not name the company, but the largest company in the world which manufactures equipment, supports with software to build semiconductors. And of course, all the software is written in India, a lot of engineering is done in India. But that company has no market in India. Only for the last 3-4 years after PLI scheme in chip making has come that some market is generating, but his grouse was not that the market is not developing, it is developing. His grouse was that it's all right to build. You can be a Vietnam or a Bangladesh or a Sri Lanka, sorry about naming these countries, but you will never be China, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, Singapore, unless you develop that. It's not just make in India, it has to be designed in India. So whatever moves on tracks, 99.5% is built in India, only very little import, but the IT, the technology lies outside. The brain lies outside. You get all the protocol, you can get all the specifications, drawings, and so on, but even after decades, we are not able to manufacture to the standard we imported. And that is because technology is a creation. And that creation lives in the mind and the heart of the creator. There is no way to transfer that. So unless the gap, or to explain it with the help of my chacha Philadelphia, मेरे शेर आईना खाने में तेरी बेशुमार अदाओं के. I can go poetic about your beauty. मेरे शेर आईना खाने में तेरी बेशुमार अदाओं के, मगर ऐसी भी है कोई अदा जो रहेगी सीना राज में. There is something about the elegance in your beauty which will remain buried in the recesses of my heart. Nobody is going to get access to it. So unless the gap, we are stuck between mindlessly global and hopelessly local. The truth, to my mind, is to be somewhere near local, not hopelessly local, but hopefully local. And unless the gap is too large, there are areas where the gaps are too large. I'm not foolish enough to say that you can do anything. No, unless the gap is not too large, you can beg, borrow, steal, transfer, adapt, adopt, but whatever you get has to be stamped with your creativity, your originality. Because that will bring ownership. And ownership brings pride. And pride can make you do 120, 130% more than what you are otherwise capable of to bridge that gap. That, to my mind, is the spirit of Atmanirbhar. There are some examples over here, we'll get into that. All I'm trying to say, in whatever, most of you are from industry, but may not fully apply to you, but in whatever job, particularly in government and large organizations, whatever is your job listed is 20% of your job. Some senior of mine wants to ask me what your job is, and I parroted what I was told, and he then told me that all that is fine, statistics is fine, that's part of your job, do that, but you have to look back after your tenure and then say that these were the things that would not have been done had I not been there on the chair. That's your job. These are all examples for which I was ridiculed for providing in 2010 trolleys in Bangalore station so that dignity is given to these porters who carry 3 tier on their head with 2 bags, with his neck bending, and someone walking next to the person and then bargaining with him for 5 rupees or 10 rupees. I gave these trolleys, said you will charge the same thing you should do today. What is railways getting from this? What are passengers getting from this if he's going to charge the same thing? Somebody asked, I said, by giving these trolleys to them and making head load banned in Bangalore station, which has fallen into disuse after I left because of my fault, I didn't bring a sustainable system, but nevertheless, by making him carry the luggage in a trolley and not on his head, I am giving him dignity. And by giving him dignity, I am giving dignity to myself. 2005 Secunderabad, that time all the muck was thrown on the track. Now we have bio-toilets. Not Indian Railways' great achievement. Thrust by Supreme Court, we had to do it. But those days, and this is how tracks were cleaned. I went and sat with them, these ladies and other gents of Paiwalas, and I got talking and I said, do you have pride in your work? So one of the ladies, she said, look at me. Look at me, sir. Can I have pride in my work? That moved me so much that this is what we made of Secunderabad station within 3 months. And then I went and sat with them and I asked, do you have pride in your work? And she said, yes, now we have pride in work because we also are doing something with dignity and we are also doing something which is value for society, value for Indian Railways. I was ridiculed for the Safai Dulai ADRM. I was told that this fellow has no work, so he's going after giving cards to trolleys, to porters, and so on. This is about a locomotive we built. Nobody wants locomotive, but when we built this, when I was the head of the R&D wing of Railways in Research, Design and Standards Organization, with engine imported from General Motors, rest everything done in my leadership with a great team, India became only the third country in the world to build a diesel engine of this high horsepower range after USA and China. Nobody knows about it. Why I'm telling you is, it's not just that just because people have appreciated I should be Go Gaga or Vande Bharat. There are many things which you have to do whether anybody recognizes or not. As long as it's your calling and gives you satisfaction, that's what you need to do. And that's why I leave this field of engineering, I come to this. 5,000 miles apart, 200 years plus apart, language apart, culture apart, Shakespeare and Ghalib, I always wondered when I got initiated whether the human emotion of love, jealousy, treachery, selfishness, selflessness, courage, chivalry, what's common in that between these two? So I studied about it, there was no time, but as soon as I retired, I started working on it. And scholars like Dr. Shivde helped me a lot. Has Dr. Bharati come?
I have invited her. Possibly she has come.
Oh, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. So these two, we were in the same group, they helped me a lot. I was able to write that book. It's called Shakespeare and Ghalib, a collation by their self-styled nephew. Over 2 years of interaction in that group, many of them are based in Nashik actually. It helped me. Again, something I dreamt for last 30 years and I was able to do when I retired, when I was 63. And then another thing I wanted to do was bring, Ghalib, you can look at the meaning of all the words from a dictionary. Nowadays it's so easy, but still you won't understand you won't understand what's the guy trying to say. In fact, one of my friends, I keep saying this, used to send me some pedestrian shairi with Ghalib's photo there. So I told him, yeah, you like this kind of poetry, fine, but why are you attributing it to this great poet? Don't do that. But after 2-3 days, he again sent it. Some other Sarat Chap shairi and then Ghalib's photo. I said, yeah, I told you not to do it. He said, there is a problem here. पता कैसे चले कि जो शेर आया है गालिब का है कि नहीं? मैंने कहा वो तो बहुत आसान है, अगर तुम्हारी समझ में आ गया तो गालिब का नहीं. Anyway, so wanted to bring it to people through the medium of dance, recitation, narration, and music, singing, instrument. So I went to a great, and in Lucknow is the home of Kathak. I went to Dr. Kumkundar. I told her I want to do it. She agreed. Got a singer, and finally we were able to present this show. It's run to houseful. It has run houseful in five times. Twice in Lucknow, twice in Delhi, once in Hyderabad. We are going to Jaipur on 4th January, and I play one of the. There are two Ghalibs there. The recital Ghalib is there, right there. One of my dreams again. Really, after 30 years nurturing and then doing it, and then artist latest is. I don't like film so much. But there is a shair called, Sahib Ludhiana. That's one poet who's breached this film song business into literature, or rather the other way around. So for most of his songs, there is a literary version and there is a film version. But the film version is also beautiful. So through medium of music, no dance here, and drama, we produced this play, and I was fortunate to play Sahib Ludhiana. So you can see it there. We had done 2 shows in Lucknow. Third is on 16th of January. After that, we go to Delhi. Why am I telling you this? Is simply something comes in your mind. Just keep nursing it. Don't rush into it. Time will come for you to realize it someday, and it does. I'll say only two, three things and then stop mine. I am also a little hungry. And to do anything anywhere, what is the first thing that you need? As engineer, non-engineer, household, just anywhere. What is the first and foremost thing that you need? Anyone?
Passion.
Of course. Vision, leadership, will, determination, planning, resources, passion, commitment, yes, of course. But there's something else I say is, you must absolutely love what you do. You must love the people you work with. You must love the organization you work for. If you don't, leave it. Quit unless it's a serious bread and butter issue, because you are doing a great disservice to the organization and to yourself by not liking and loving the work you do. Human resource is still the most important resource. Unless they are with you, you are not going anywhere. And as a leader, all of you are leaders, it doesn't matter how many people report to you. As long as you are dealing with human beings, suppliers, contractors, whoever, employees, you are a leader. But God has not made us to love everyone. We are not made like that. In fact, we love less and hate more. But as a leader, you have to construct it, you have to contrive it, you have to manufacture it. Because the dividends, once you make it a habit, contrived habit, the dividends are going to be too many. जिगर मुरादा वाली has said, एक लफ्ज़ से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है. This word love has this brief story. एक लफ्ज़ से मोहब्बत का अदना ये फसाना है. सिमटे तो दिले आशिक, अब फैले तो जमाना है.
वाह वाह वाह.
So whatever I did in Integral Coach Factory, 10,000 crore enterprise, 12,000 employees, the second in command told me you are a poor engineer. He didn't say that, but he said, let me do my more of the same, building the same. I said, I'll spend a lot of money in interact with people, and it was all related with this, love and empathy, because that's the last thing that particularly in government is ever treated, because it's a legacy of the British times. There's walls between those managing and those managed. Propriety, hierarchy, walls. Just to break that is so simple. It's very easy. All you need to do, or all you do, is shed your ego, adapt some empathy, and you will win over the factory. As simple as that. Start with love, but there are people who don't deserve your love. As my uncle has said that this way to encourage this sin is mercy. I would say misplaced mercy. So while you love 98%, 2% deserve your poison, and you should not be hesitant to use it. Start with love, but you should be ready to show your poison. Following my another uncle, Dinkar, when he says, Kshama Shovati, उस भुजंग को जिसके पास गरल हो, भुजंग स्नेह, गरल पॉइजन, क्षमा मर्सी. क्षमा शोभती उस भुजंग को जिसके पास गरल हो, उसका क्या लो, दंतहीन विष रहित विनीत और सरल. Then you must encourage ideation and not force it down. That's the norm here, learning from Japanese and German. Leader has ideas, somehow pushes it down, it emerges like the leaders of those. Just give them platform. We as leaders tend to talk, we don't listen. And if you are an idealess man like I am, it's so easy, just listen to people. Everyone has ideas. You may not like it, you may not adapt it, just listen. Give them the confidence that they won't be patronized or ridiculed. It will work wonders for you, just by listening to them. 5,000 plus ideas are generated, big or small, as a single window implementation done by the person who had the idea. That's all. Things that would not have been done had we not given him the platform to ideate. Something about trust, I'll leave it for the time being because I saw a lot of women engineers being awarded today, so happy to see that. So you see, in government, if there is a gender-based harassment or sexual harassment at work, there is a committee to get into that, there is a rigmarole of statements, inquiry, this and that, and usually what happens, because of pressure of society, particularly from men, the victim is kind of forced to show mercy and the perpetrator goes unscathed. I had said that as I'm not Chief Justice of India, neither are the executives here. I learn of a case or you learn of a case. I don't want any statement, no inquiry, just a lady officer will go to that lady and take a statement, that's it. All I need is 4 hours to determine if the complaint is genuine. And it can be done without any rigmarole of an inquiry, word of mouth. And if the complaint is genuine, I give myself 4 hours to the executive. I said, whoever, depending on the grade of the perpetrator, give myself 4 hours. Using the power given by Government of India to sack somebody, if you are bold enough to write why an inquiry is not possible, and all of you will write that an inquiry is not possible because in my judgment, I do not want the victim to relive that horror once again. Period. Out of the date of us. He sat look at me. I said, okay, you can go to court, but I cannot see your face in this factory. So ladies, employees, they were not too many, 15, 16%. Some of them came and said we were employed as technicians, welders, fitters, these men use us as helpers. I said, what can I do then? They said, you segregate and we'll show them that we can do better. I said, segregation do it. They said, no, this is the empowerment. So for electronics work, testing work, plumbing work, birth making work, all tests, so many things where they did exceedingly well in separate gangs. But what I leave with you, ladies and gentlemen, is 29 Chennai women, aged 23 to 57, supervised by a lady supervisor, through heavy lifting, welding and fitting, manufacturing a complete railway coach on their own.
Wow, wow, wow.
And pride they have in the world, you can see in the other picture, almost dressed like Air Force pilots. Any organization, big or small, which does not treat women as complete equals, not lip service, is not going anywhere, not in this century. So only 5 minutes, about 5-7 minutes about the train, because that's on the agenda. You know what a train is. So coaches coupled, decoupled, locomotives at each end or one end and whatever, depending upon operational requirement. This come this way, engine detaches, goes in front and so on. But the trend the world over, the last 30-35 years, is to build a train set which is number of coaches coupled together permanently without any locomotive, all equipment under the board for powering, air conditioning, heating, lighting, everything. And all the space above the board is for passenger amenities except the 2 cabs in the end. And you can walk from one cab to the last cab over 16, 18, 20 coaches. Through a sealed gangway, you will not feel that you have crossed from one coach to the other. And unlike what you have in Shatabdi Rajdhani, that noisy power car, I'm sure you've seen that. No, it's all under the board, no noise. No reversal, it goes like this, it comes like this, it goes back like this. So many advantages, but we were talking about it since the early 90s. But we didn't have it because of internecine warfare between departments. There's neither a train nor a locomotive, so who's the Maibab? Then there is the import lobby, बना भी नहीं पाएंगे, import भी नहीं करने देंगे, and so on. The upshot was it was not there, only discussion, procrastination, hesitation. You see, we are concerned so much about everything around us that we forget that little dot where we have influence. that concerns consume us. It's all right to have concern, but it should not consume you. As the Chinese saying goes, you can not remove the darkness all over the world, you cannot. But you can light one candle to remove some darkness around you. शिकवा जुल्म के शब्द से कहीं बेहतर था. शिकवा complaint, जुल्म and darkness shall evening. शिकवा जुल्म के शब्द से कहीं बेहतर था कि अपने हिस्से की क्षमा जताते जाते. Heading this largest factory in the world, in numbers, not in technology or variety or aesthetics. If I did not do anything about it, I got posted there in 2016, August. Then it was not a dream, it was a pipe dream. So I thought I had a dream, I thought the vision, fortune of all the staff who had gone through POT and had bursting at their seams with their boredom on their face, doing same thing. They had the chutzpah, the audacity to try something new. I had to only channelize that energy, I had the opportunity. The core team chose itself. During informal discussion, I can tell you when I say chose itself, what does it mean? It was not based on hierarchy. It was based on people with fire. Every organization has 15-20% such people who carry the organization on their shoulders. Leader's job is to identify them. They choose themselves. And they had a vision to build an 180 kilometers per hour plus train without locomotive and whatever I described, better than mine. So the core team chose itself. They were all excited finally they were going to do it, but there was one doubt was, they said you may be a great GM, this government has given a lot of involvement, all money can be spent locally by a GM, nothing goes to the ministry, let it be 1,000, 2,000 crores, no file goes to the ministry. Suresh Prabhuji did that. He said, but in this case, this is a new animal. It's neither a train nor a locomotive, so you need a stamp from the board. I said, I'll get it. The chairman was one Mr. A.K. Mittal, late Mr. A.K. Mittal, God bless his soul, he is no more. So I went to him and I said, so we applied, we proposed in November of 16 that we want to build this, but there was no, my team wanted me to bring that sanction. They were excited. I said, I'll get it, but I ran into cynicism, negativity. People thought I was trying to build the bill up, trying to spin a yarn, and import also would be stopped and so on. So we were not getting the sanction. Came March of 2017, I went to the chairman, Mr. Mittal. I said, please give me a sanction for 2 trains. You import whatever you want. Who are going to stop you? He said, other board members are preventing me. I said, you are the chairman. As he was hesitating, I grabbed his feet. I said, I'm not leaving your feet till you give me the sanction. Now some people ask me, you of course speak. You talk about this figuratively. You don't, or did you do it actually? I said, if you're so curious, you have to go up and find out. It was between me and him. It was all about pride and vanity. Pride elevates you. You look at everyone with happiness. It's a feel good. By grabbing his feet, I was enhancing my pride because I go back to my people with this action. I knew this will work. By grabbing his feet, you see, vanity diminishes you because you belittle others to elevate yourself. By grabbing his feet, I was killing my vanity. One of you is going to kill it in any case someday. Why not kill it yourself today? So there I am back with the sanction. Everyone is excited, and then somebody says that so we are going to spend 250 crores to build these 2 trains. We are excited, but if it works fine, we've never done this work earlier. But if it fails, then who will be the scapegoat? If it works, we'll bask in that glory, but if it fails, then who will be the scapegoat? I said, I'm the oldest. I'm retiring in December 18, before all of you. Which better scapegoat can you find? Because I will retire, and what can they do to a retired person? They cried, of course. But anyway, it worked that time, and in all this excitement as work goes on, it's all about success and failure. So So how do we define success? You do something, you hard work on something, there is an outcome of value, and that is success. Actually, no. When you give everything, when you work with your passion, all your commitment, all your hard work, all your life on something, you cannot do more. You have succeeded. The outcome may be a failure once, twice. It cannot go on being a failure if you have that passion and commitment. That fear of not getting the outcome prevents us from even trying. As my uncle has said, our doubts are traitors which make us lose the good we oft might win by fearing to attempt it. And then I told them that गिरते हैं शह सवार ही मैदान जंग में कुत्ते फिर गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. Days of your drawing are over. We'll work on this together and we'll give the country what it's been waiting for ages. Work like magic. Couple more things and then I end. One of the doubts was, of course, we were not going to get any technology, no technology transfer. Industry had come up much better than us because they don't have bureaucratic shackles, people like you. And they were also working for pride, not for profit. I told them, 2 trains you cannot make profit. If you are working only for profit, please don't. I need people who work for pride. Money will come tomorrow. But this time, join in this mission and build something for the country. And all of them, most of them, 90% of them agreed. But still there were gaps where we thought we needed some hand-holding. We were not going to any company. I knew, having worked in Germany, I knew of certain consultants who worked even for big companies like Alstom or Siemens. And we will go to them and they will hold our hand only with the condition that every line that they draw, every word that they write will be with our people, either face to face or on video, so that our people learn the know-how and the know-why. And next time when we want to build a 220, 240 kilometers per hour train, they have the base to do it themselves without these crutches. It worked wonderfully. Underlying idea is again from my uncle. You see, a fool doth think he's wise, touchstone in as you like it. A fool doth think he's wise, but a wise man knows himself to be a fool. It's better to be a witty fool than a foolish wit. Last thing, I believe we have some friends from Siemens. Yes, sir. So, a project of this magnitude, from concept to design to engineer to manufacture to validate, prove out, turn out. It's a serial business. It cannot be done in parallel. And if you do a systematic working, which they do, it's going to take you 36 months, 42 months. And my people told me that you are retiring in December 18, we have 21 months. By the time you retire, our drawings would be ready, but no procurement would have been done, manufacture would not have started. And the new leader would say, why are you purchasing this trouble? Why don't you propose import like everyone wants? Where would our hard work be? I said, yes, that's a problem, but the solution lies with us. We can burn our midnight oil, we Indians, like nobody else in the world. And we will work to everyone else's timing, from 6 a.m. in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, and do something which has never been done in, perhaps in the world. Is turn down this train after completion in calendar year 2018, before I retire, to put all doubt about abandonment of the project and to remind everyone that the train is going out in calendar year 2018. We will give it a name. So in April of 2017, we called the train 18. And it was there on everyone's table. Train 18 going out in calendar year 2018. After that, it was a daily battle, a daily roadblock, a daily solution, daily synergy. Pressure all the way, solutions all the way. I'll not get into that, except this one picture. We decided ICF has maybe some 15 air-conditioned conference rooms. But we said our meetings with foreign consultants, stakeholders, industry partners, other suppliers, our own stakeholders, everyone will be right there where the train was being built in that heat and humidity of Chennai, because we wanted to convey that we are all in this together. Together we sing, together we rise. Fortune favors the brave, ladies and gentlemen. The train lived up to its name once again and got completed in exactly 18 months and was unveiled in October 2018, was tested at 180 kilometers per hour plus, was launched by the Prime Minister himself as the Vande Bharat Express between Varanasi and New Delhi. It was 2019 election time, so we had made it for Delhi Bhopal, which has 160 km per hour track, but nevertheless, it still remains the first one, the fastest train today at average speed of 96 km per hour. The rest are less than this. Tracks have not come up. We had made two trains. There was a period of negativity for 3.5 years, but August 22, it's back. And today there are 160 odd such trains. And it almost is like the map of India. I close with three things. So it was just a train, not a Chandrayaan or Mangalyaan, not a missile or a rocket. And why did we get so much of appreciation, particularly me as the leader on the limelight? We still don't have a clear answer. Perhaps travelers, non-travelers alike, every Indian thought that this was built by Indians for India, derived some pride out of it. But the Prime Minister covers it beautifully when he says that the train represents the spirit of aspirational and resurgent India. It was sheer pleasure working on the project over 18 months, but if good people like Mr. Rahi and Mr. Kothari give me the chance to relive their joy, so thank you very much. It was not a one-man show at all. Given a chance in retrospect, I will not change one member of the core team. Such was the great team that chose itself, my fortune. But as the leader, the limelight came on me, and they remained unknown and unsung. So when I retired, it was also my job, not a dream really, to not only build that narrative, to tell that narrative, but also call out the contribution of each and every member by name. And I have been able to do it in this book. It's called My Train 18 Story. It's available on Amazon. Some of you get it, I will be very happy. The team will be very happy, and I think I've been able to do justice to the great work done by the team members. And I close by saying that 1 million such projects are possible in this country thanks to people like you. All it needs, first and foremost, is leadership with passion, commitment, and a sense of purpose. Thank you very much.